Hey, everybody. Absolutely stunning news over here this week. We have a video version of this week's episode available on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/late night. Go over there, sign up at any tier, and you'll have access to it. Once again, that's patreon.com/late night. Now, enjoy the show. Now, something I do need is the new Dan Avidan and Super Guitar Bros album.
Yes.
Hot off the presses. And you guys, you have a hit album.
It's dude, I don't know where it is on the charts, but I'm sure it's high.
Rocking.
Got to be hitting somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. So tell me, I've always wondered, what is it like to work with Dan Avidan?
Horrible. He's just... No, it's
No, keep going down that road. Sam, Sam, say bad things about Dan. Come on.
Really just the total opposite of that.
No, he's let's be real. Let's be actually real about what it's like. As if you don't know what it's like.
As if I don't know. I've only been in a band with the guy for almost 15 years.
Yeah. He is just a sweet angel, like always.
Yeah. The thing I always say to my friends whenever they ask about him is that if you watch Game Grumps or any kind of thing like that, it's like the way he acts on there is the way he is in real life. It's like he's just like a chill,
no comment,
easygoing. Brian's like, oh no, I know what he's really like.
I think to add, I think one of the cool things about Dan is I feel like he's a really authentic person, and that's the feeling I get. Mm-hmm. And being a completely unauthentic person myself, it's like something that to totally aspire to.
No, let's unpack this. How are you not yourself? It's like we're in I Heart Huckabees right now. How are you not yourself, Sam? What does it mean to not be authentic?
I guess technically everyone's always being authentic all the time, regardless of how authentic they think they might be being. Right. No, but I don't know. He feels like...
I don't want to talk about him anymore. I want to talk about you.
It's a way for me to talk about what I feel about myself, to talk about Dan.
Okay, we got Dan like a mirror to compare on.
Anyway, I feel like this is about to actually become a therapy session.
It might be. Well, listen.
We got a doctor.
That's right.
Here.
We got a doctor. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a therapist. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a physician. I'm an internist. I'm an otolaryngologist. I do everything, basically. Yes, I'm an intern also. Here at Late Night, I'm an intern. And everybody, this is Late Night with Brian Wecht. We are Leightonless this week. Leighton had a last-minute thing come up, couldn't make it today. But we are very pleased to have our mystery guests here, and we do have two. So mystery guest, would you please introduce yourself?
Yo, what up? We're called Super Guitar Bros. We're the mystery guests. I'm Sam Griffin, okay?
Mm-hmm. Sam Griffith.
And Sam Griffin, we've gone over this. It's it's an N at the end, you know that.
That's what I said.
So I play nylon guitar. Mm-hmm. I'm half of the Super Guitar Bros. And this over here.
Yep, my name is Steven Poisson, and I'm the other half of Super Guitar Bros. Mm-hmm. So he's got the nylon string classical guitar. I've got just like a plain normal acoustic guitar, steel string, like what you normally think of with acoustic probably.
Sam, do you resent the fact that Steve called your guitar not normal? I mean, to you, your guitar is normal, right?
Yeah, to me, it's the most normal. It's the bass line. It's the middle.
No. You don't play the bass line. You often play the lead line.
You know what I mean. You always know what I mean, and you always act like you don't.
He does play the bass line sometimes.
I don't know what you mean. Well, that's what I said, but sometimes he doesn't.
Let's be real. Actually, it's mostly Steve playing the bass lines. If there is a bass line, usually he's kind of more of a bottom. I'm more of a kind of a top.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, we'll take turns being in the middle.
Sometimes we switch. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
There's a side. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know about sides now.
Yeah, sometimes side. Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, so we do video game covers on guitar. That's our spiel. That's our gig.
Occasionally originals too, right?
Occasionally originals, yeah. We got 2 originals on our Spotify, which, by the way, we got Spotify and all the other places.
Hold the fuck up with those links. We'll get to that at the end. Now is not the time to plug your shit.
YouTube.com/SuperGuitarBros.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
We get it in.
Jared,
we get it in early.
Cut all that out.
We get it in early, just because, you know retention, how that goes. We got to get people on the
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So
But we got a couple originals on all the places, and therefore a game that came out last year, I think, called Soundfall.
yes.
And it's like a big music game where like you're running around, top down view, you're running around and shooting stuff, and you got to do everything to the beat of the music.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah. Like some songs are slower, some songs are faster.
So it's like a rhythm platformer, kind of.
Kind of not so much platformer, but definitely like running around shooting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of like, I don't know, you kind of jump from like one place to another.
Yeah, you like warp around. I don't know. Have you ever played Smash TV?
A long time ago, yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like that. It's top down and you're shooting in like, 360 degrees around you. Enemies are coming at you.
Yeah, like running around and then aiming around you.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So a friend of ours was heavily involved in the development of that game, and he got like a whole bunch of video game.
Do you want to drop a name here?
Yeah, Nate Horsfall, an amazing animator and artist. He's done like a lot of stuff for us in terms of art, and for live shows he's done a lot of like visual stuff behind us, and super rad dude. So there's this whole kind of ecosystem of like video game cover people. We're among them, like the MagFesty kind of people.
There's kind of that whole scene. It's got its own like cliques and stuff.
Yeah.
Who are some of the worst people, the people you don't like in that
Triforce
scene?
Quartet. That's not hard.
No.
That's an
Sam
easy
knows
one
that
for
one
me.
right away.
Yeah. No, those guys are trash in so many ways, in so many levels. I honestly feel that way. But no, I don't.
Wow, of course you don't.
Cut me saying I don't.
Jarek, leave this all in. We're gonna anytime we say cut that out, we have to leave it in.
So Nate reached out.
Nate and the developer for Soundfall.
Yeah, reached out to a bunch of random video game cover people and composers and stuff. So we wrote a couple tunes for it.
That's so great.
Like Steve wrote a tune. It's very like rhythmic and, kind of driving. And I wrote a thing that's way too complicated. And I feel like it's just fully, like it's fully us.
Yeah, exactly. Like you definitely, you listen to them and you're like, oh yeah, that's got that Steve vibe to it. And then you listen to the other one and like, oh yeah, Sam definitely wrote that.
Too many notes.
Well, the question, Steve, is does your part have the percussive stuff?
In both of them, yeah. But like in mine, that was my intention, and then in Sam's, that was his intention. Is like, we'll give the rhythm part, the percussion to Steve. But in his, it's much more, it's got that like Castlevania kind of like neoclassical kind of vibe to it.
Ooh.
And in the video that we have on our channel, we even call it something like when you write a song that belongs in a Castlevania game or something like that.
Well, that's a fun thing. I wanted to clarify for those of you listening who don't know. So a big part of Steve's performance is, what would you call it? Slaps, bops, taps, slips.
Yeah, the slaps and bops, just doing all the percussion on the guitar, just any kind of drum kind of stuff is on my end mostly.
I've always said this. I feel like a lot of the creativity is on Steve's end.
What?
Well, oh yeah, dude. Let me tell you why. Because when we're doing arrangements and stuff, I feel like most of my job is to just do the notes. What are the notes? Do the notes. If it's a crazy lead or something, some technical stuff, that's where I come in there, right? And I swoop in and I nail it.
Yeah. It's like precision drone strike. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. Yeah.
No.
I'm
bam.
into that stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. You love notes.
Drones. No, not drone strikes is what I meant.
Right.
The drone notes.
But usually, when we're arranging stuff, it's like I just play the notes, and then if something has a bunch of drums and stuff, it's kind of just up to Steve to figure out like how can he wrangle the bass and the drums and on guitar, how can he handle note wise what he has to handle, but then also percussion wise.
It's pretty crazy, dude. I mean, you both are insane musicians in a good way, not in a bad way. But watching you, Steve, to not only master the guitar, just playing the quote unquote normal way to play the guitar, but also to do the percussive stuff and then just effortlessly flip back and forth between the two it's like a magic trick. It's pretty nuts.
And then having you playing with my hair on top of that too.
Well, so we should get into this.
There's some things that we have to address, some deeply personal.
I think we should. That's
emotionally
why. Emotionally, yes.
Traumatic events.
Okay. Your words, not mine. Now, there's a big difference between when we had you guys on the show last time and now, which is that since we have all been on tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to live through months, basically, on a bus with Dr. Brian Wecht, as many other folks. And, you know, when you guys were on the show last time, which was probably 2 years ago, a year and a half, something like that. At this point, we knew each other well, but we didn't know each other touring well, right?
Yeah, we weren't that close.
Yeah, friends at a distance, let's say.
Yeah.
But we were living on top of each other for an extended period of time. And so let's really get into it. Let me ask you the question everybody wants to know, which is, what was it like touring with me?
Okay, so...
By the way, you can be honest. If you had an issue with me, you can address that now. You can tell me.
First, I want to fuck around.
Great.
But after that, I want to be really actually honest.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'll jump in at that part too, the honest part.
Great.
Brian assaulted me nightly on stage.
That's true.
Please describe.
All right, so here's the deal. I have a bag of dust. It's a bag of cornstarch that I carry around with me when I have to play shows.
I didn't know about this. This is interesting. Tell me about this.
You make it so hard. All right, so I have a bag of dust that I use I basically lubricate my fingertips. It's a dry lube, okay? So it makes my fingers run real smooth and quick over the strings. I'm being totally serious.
They don't like catch on the strings. They don't get stuck.
So I get a little nervous before a show. My fingertips get a little clammy, just a little bit, but it's enough to catch on the string and to kind of, it just fucks shit up for me.
It's called biology.
Right. So I have this bag of dust always on stage with me. I need it. It's very important to me.
Crucial to your performance.
Crucial's the word. Yeah. We were playing a show, I forget where. Doesn't matter where. But what does matter is that at one point, Brian sprinted over to me.
This is during the show, by the way.
This is during the show. People watching. We're doing like a professional thing. Brian sprints over to me, grabs my bag of dust. It steals my bag of dust. This very crucial element to me being able to do my job.
Yeah, now the show just can't go anymore.
Right. So like
has to stop.
He's got the bag of dust and he runs off with it. And I'm like, what the hell? I need my bag of dust.
And we're all like plugged in and stuff, so it's not like we can get very far away from the chairs.
This wasn't during a song. It was in between songs.
In between songs, which is when I use my dust.
Right.
Which is why you took it, because I was using it.
Yeah.
Because I had it and I was applying it to my fingertips, and you thought, this would be a fun thing. I'll come over and take his dust.
Brian sees that chance.
Well, in the words of Hannibal Lecter, we covet what we see every day. And
it did take a bit.
It took a few days for me to see this little tempting bag show up on stage every day. And then one time, of course, as I have mentioned, my goal once I'm in character during a show is to make the show bad. And all I want is to derail and annoy. And so when I saw a golden opportunity that I had not been aware of before, especially with you now, Sam, you were on the opposite side of the stage from me during these shows. So I saw a vast gulf between us and you dangling this little bag that if every show looked more and more tempting just out there. One night I was like, I'm going to take that fucking bag. Next time that bag comes out, I'm getting it. And so without warning, I sprung up and sprinted across the stage and grabbed it.
Yeah. And so this bit, like, it evolved over the course of many shows, right? There was many shows we were playing, to the point where most of the shows, what it ended up being was you would take my bag and then you would taunt me with the bag by putting it into your pants, walking over to me and actually forcing me, like physically taking my hand and forcing me to fish the bag out of your pants.
Now, the way you're saying it makes it sound bad.
No, I know, I am. I totally am.
I'm kidding, of course.
I'm bringing the energy I brought on stage to this, which I shouldn't.
No, you should. I want you to.
But I loved it. And to be totally fair, there was actually several times I remember when we're not doing a show completely serious, where you're like, Sam, honestly, please tell me if this is uncomfortable for you, if this is weird. Jarrett cut this, obviously. This is destroying your image. And I was like, dude, no, do it.
Right.
Please do more of it.
We all had that conversation, which was really cool,
Oh, you have to. Like, if you're just playing music with someone on stage, that is not going to be relevant. But when you're doing bits and there's like touching and stuff like that, to me, any like good actor, comedian will always make sure you're respecting the boundaries of everyone else on stage. And if someone says, look, I'm not comfortable with that, cool, you move on. Like, then you just find something else to do. And so it was very important to me. And I did check with you guys several times. I was like, look, I want to make sure you're okay with this. If you're not, you tell me and we'll find something else. But Sam, you definitely were like, let me get in there. And
yeah, I was.
To be clear to everybody listening, I always made sure the tip of the bag was right at the top of the waistline so you could grab it without getting into daddy's business.
Tip of
right at
what
the top
bag?
of the tip.
Your little bag.
Tip of what bag?
Your little bag. And I'm not going to tell you what I consider
right now,
your
Brian.
little bag.
Maybe you're talking about the tip of his bag.
Oh, it's not little.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a medium-sized bag.
Yeah, large even. So access was important to me.
Well, actually, I was about to say it was always very easy to find, but there were a couple times where I feel like I have to shuffle just a tad.
Mm-hmm.
I never
was
knew
hot
if you
in
were
there.
like playing that up or not.
Oh.
Because I knew there were some times where it was like taking longer than normal.
I feel like you would kind of almost direct my hand to exactly where it was.
Oh, that's right. Sometimes I would take your hand and like...
yeah, and I would be clasping it and just looking absolutely disgusted. I loved it, dude.
Yeah. Your face that you made during that, this like sad Sam is the funniest Sam, I think, because you have this like hangdog face that you can do, which is really great.
Dude, it didn't actually make me uncomfortable, but I thought the even more uncomfortable one was sitting on your lap.
Oh, that's right. Yes, of course.
That was another one of the things you would do is you would take my spot. I would come out. They would say, hey, we're going to introduce Super Guitar Bros, because you guys would do like a few songs, like you and Dan, and then you, Dan, and Jim. And then they'd say, oh, we're going to bring out our friends, you know, blah, 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 Super Guitar Bros. We would walk out, and then you would be sitting in my spot. And I'd have to stand awkwardly because I didn't have a seat.
And I'm just like over here getting all plugged in and set up like, well, that sucks.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember when that happened. Was that always in the beginning where I would?
No, I think it mixed it up. One thing I actively tried to do is to make sure you didn't totally know what was going to happen on stage, because I think that keeps things fresh and fun. And so sometimes I just wouldn't do it, just to be like, not tonight, not feeling it.
Right.
And sometimes I think maybe when you came back in after the butt dance, I would do it then, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like it wasn't right in the beginning. I feel like
I can't quite remember. There was some mix. God, we did the show like 30 times. You'd think I'd remember it better, but
maybe that's why you don't.
I don't.
All those different kind of things and like bits and stuff, like they all just kind of evolved, over all the different shows.
You keep it interesting that way. I mean, no shade against someone who's going to like do the same show every time. That's also a great way of doing it. But personally, I always wanted to like mix things up and, A, because it's more fun, B, because I think it makes it a better show if there's that little element of unpredictability that the audience can definitely clue into. Like when we were fucking with each other on stage and it was something genuinely new, that reads, right? The audience like can see that and feel it. And because it makes us laugh and people on stage are having a good time, and that shit really propagates out.
There was times where, remember the Re-audition the band bit?
Yes.
Of course you remember that.
Why don't you describe this for people that didn't see the live show?
Yeah, what was it? Dan would say at one point, so we've reached a point in the show where
Ninja Brian's like had it put into the contract that at some point during the show, he's going to re-audition the band. And then like Jim and you and I were all just like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about?
What?
Yeah.
And Dan's like, yeah, so I'm gonna go take a little break, and you guys do your thing, have fun. I'll see you in a bit. Good luck. And we're just like, what? Wait, Dan, come back.
Because the band is you guys and Jim Roach. It's the two of you and Jim Roach.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I would come up to you first, Sam. And of course, the amazing thing, of course, is you guys are such talented instrumentalists that even when I'm like looming over your shoulders and getting right in your faces, you still crush it consistently.
But there was like several nights where Brian's head would be, I know you, if you're not watching, but like a good reason to sign up for the Patreon.
Oh, there we go. Look at
See
this.
what I'm
That's
talking
a
about.
professional.
Yeah.
I like money. I like money for you.
Patreon.com/late night. Yeah.
But yeah, you'd have your head like right here, like
Right
just
there,
glaring at me with your eyes.
I was like
Sure, a whole other
centimeter
story.
away from your face. Yeah.
Yeah, I prepared this like really kind of complicated thing, and so did.
It was really good, actually.
It was like really hard.
Yeah, like Sam's is like a very pretty, like classical, like just
yeah. It's almost like a Flight of the Bumblebee style thing.
Yeah, it was.
yeah,
it was hard
it gets like faster and faster.
It was hard to keep it together, just because it was so funny to me. You being that close, it absolutely made it harder to play the thing.
Great, good. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, but it was great. Then you would judge us.
I would give you a thumbs down. Look at the audience, do like the thumb in the middle, and then thumbs down or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, big surprise, but yeah, it's always a thumbs down.
Always a thumbs down.
And it's
Never
boo.
got a thumbs up.
Well,
And then dismiss you.
Did I get a thumbs up?
it was boo, boo. The audience boos. Like, get out of here. You suck. You would go like, get out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I'd walk off stage. And then Steve, why don't you talk about your experience?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of similar in a way where he comes over to me. It's like, well, you're getting pushed off stage, and I'm before anything, I'm just like, boo, fuck this shit. Like,
Yeah.
like this guy sucks. Fuck Ninja Brian. And then the crowd starts booing, and we're all just like, boo, fuck this.
By the way, before you continue, I don't think we talked about this. This was interesting. I was talking to Leighton about this. She thought the audience was booing you guys and was on my side.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which was
No.
definitely not the case.
Not the case. Not the case.
I'm trying to be the bad guy.
yeah.
I could think that, but I feel like after seeing the show happen so many times, it is so clear that it's
I'm the
like,
heel.
fuck
I'm
Brian.
I'm there being the
Yeah.
asshole. Like, come on, dicks, fuck y'all. Yeah.
Love to
Yeah,
hate it.
because sometimes it happens just naturally. The crowd will start booing, but
Right.
even if they're not, by the time I'm just like boo, then
Yes.
they're all bored on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love getting booed. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing.
Happy to make your dream.
That's your cheering. I mean, that's your cheering, man. And it's like you created that.
100%. Yeah. It's a show of support.
So after all that, then Ninja Brian turns around and he looks at me, and then it's like, oh shit, okay, I guess it's my turn. And he's just looking at me. He's
Right in there.
kind of stalking around me, and same kind of thing. He just gets like right up in real close to my face, and just really trying not to laugh, which is really hard.
That was my favorite, is watching you quiver.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
know, when
I'm like
I'm
straight
right
up.
there.
Like sometimes I would play into it a tiny bit. For the most part, though, I'm like trying to actually focus and not laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I start playing, and my thing is like kind of similar to the original song that we were talking about earlier for Soundfall. It's got very percussion. I wanted to show off like this is the kind of percussion
It's
stuff I
very
can
cool.
do.
Yeah.
It's very like rockin', very rhythmic, and like totally different side of the spectrum from Sam's things. And I think that makes it cool too.
And I remember it had like some kind of diminished walk up or like prelude.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I had like some cool chords I threw in like near the end too.
Yeah. And then you would play, and what would happen, Steve?
Yeah, and then like I would start doing the percussion part, and then like as soon as it starts getting into the main bit, Brian would just like grab my head and just start playing with my freaking
Just
hair,
caressing your skull.
caressing my skull and shit. 'Cause-
That was my favorite part of the whole show.
And-
It's getting booted off and then watching that happen.
yeah, I never got to see.
Just
what it looks
watching
like
my boy get rubbed.
Yeah.
Rubbed. That's
Yeah.
right.
I never thought about that.
Get one of my famous head rubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like the first time you did it, I just had no idea it was coming. I was just like, oh shit, okay, this is happening now.
That's crazy.
And then from that point on, it was like, okay, yeah, that's cool if you want to do that.
With consent.
Right.
As I
Yep.
do point out. Do you remember, Steve, the one thing you told me, you were like, don't do that. Do you remember what this was?
Yes. I don't remember which show it was.
I think it was the first variety show.
Oh, was it a variety show?
Maybe we're talking about different things.
The one I'm thinking of is like, you pulled me up out of my seat for some reason, and then the crowd started, I think, chanting like, kiss, kiss, kiss. And you were like positioning me like you were getting ready to kiss me. And I was already in the mindset where like, if that happens, I'm cool with it. It's not the end of the world, but like in the future, it'll be a thing I don't want to do.
Right. And we didn't do it. for that
and
reason.
We didn't do it. I closed my eyes and I was like, I'm just whatever happens. And then you gave me a hug and I was like, oh, hug is great. Love hugs.
Explicitly, because I would never do that without checking ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like that is the kind of thing that very plausibly you would not have been okay with. And that is the last thing I want. And so if they ever got a kiss chant going, I think that was the first and only time. First of all, I didn't want to encourage that particular thing, but also I would never put you in a position where I'm going to force you to kiss me on stage when I haven't checked ahead of time. Like, come on. That's something you have to check with people first.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's being a bad co-performer, right? If you're not checking with someone about that. So I would never have done that without explicitly asking you. Now, this is something, and I think maybe the reason people did it is when I was on stage with Phobos, we would do this, but we're also both wearing giant masks. You know, he's got this huge fucking thing on his head. It's a totally different story.
Yeah.
I actually forgot about that. The thing I was talking about was during a variety show when I played the sax between you guys, and afterwards you were like, "Don't spit on me." And I think there was, and I said, okay, I'll be careful about that. But also that was definitely sweat, because that was like the sweatiest show we had done up to that point. I was like dripping sweat. And I think what happened, and by the way, this is totally, a fine thing for you to say, and I was not the least put out by it. It was like, "Hey, don't spit on me." Yeah. Understandable. I don't want to spit at you. So that's the one I was thinking.
Don't sweat on me either.
Yeah.
Which is also a valid thing. It's like, hey, if you're dripping sweat, like, don't get up on me.
Yeah, you're like, no, Steve, that's sweat. That's sweat, Steve.
You have to take it.
Come on.
I mean, a rock show or whatever kind of genre you'd call our show, it's like we're still rocking. It's a rock show.
So you're gonna get wet.
You're gonna be sweaty.
Look, if you're gonna come to see Ninja Sex Party and Super Guitar Bros, you're gonna get wet.
Yeah,
right?
That's a given.
It's a given. I think I talked to you guys about that. In fact, I know I talked to you guys about this. Is one thing that you don't get in music training that you do get in comedy training is checking boundaries on stage. You check with people. You got to do it. It's important. And if you don't do it, you're not being a gracious performer. So I wanted to make sure you guys know, because what we do at that show, it is very much a music show, but it's also a comedy show. And you guys are kind of being forced into this like comedy show without the comedy training. Although I will say both you guys are really fucking funny. And that's a big part of the reason we wanted you guys to be a part of this tour, is not just because we love working with you musically, but because you're both, funny as hell. And we knew you guys could handle it, but it's also not the type of performing you typically do. Although I do want to say some of the funniest shit that happened at that show had nothing to do with me and Dan, but was the offhand comments that you guys would make during your opening set. Like sometimes
thank you
guys would drop these bombs, or I would be like, and I'm hard pressed to remember any specific ones because they were always so of the moment, but I'd just be like, that's the funniest fucking thing I ever heard. Like, and it was just like coming out, just no planning, just stream of consciousness.
That I mean, especially coming from you, I mean, that really, really means a lot. And I feel like that started to become more of a kind of a thing in our shows. And that's kind of just evolved naturally over time.
Yeah.
I do want to say, when you said like, oh, we wanted to, get the bros because we feel like, they could handle it. And I feel like this tour, I feel like it came at a really nice time, just as far as like, I can't speak for you, but like just for my comfort level on stage and for my kind of like, I don't know, that development, I actually feel like, man, if it had been like a couple of years ago, I might have been a little too scary, honestly.
Like a little too nervous.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was for us, for what we're used to. I mean, that was by far, every one of those shows was like, felt like bigger and more important than almost any of the shows we had done at any point up
pretty
to,
big crowds,
up to there.
Yeah,
man, absolutely.
I know that this was just one song we did, but how did it feel doing the Chicago show with them, like the 10-year,
the 10th anniversary show,
the 10th anniversary show?
Oh yeah,
because that was like 7,000 people, something like that.
Closer to 8, it was like 7,600. Yeah,
man,
yeah. That was definitely more scary. I was definitely pretty nervous for that. When we got out there, though, you just kind of perceive a big, huge crowd.
Yes.
And beyond that, it doesn't feel that different.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, is that like there's sort of a point where you can't really comprehend the number anymore. I mean, probably once you're getting to like 10,000 and 20,000 and shit, and anything beyond that, then I'm sure you're like hearing it and feeling it more. But the levels that we're at, 500, 1,000, it's kind of like, it's just sort of a big room at that point.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a different feeling if you're in like a stadium, like, a 20,000 or whatever person thing. That probably feels different. I wouldn't know. But look, that was a stadium for sure. But it did not feel that different to me than the, 4,000 person rooms we had played in the past. I think once you get above, like you said, Steve, once you get above like 1,000, it sort of feels the same. It's just a big crowd. I am very curious, and God knows if we'll ever get to this point, probably not. But if we did play like a huge show or something, what that would feel like. Obviously, we'd all be on in-ears, so probably on stage, it would feel pretty much the same. But like, what are the logistics of being in a giant, like a Taylor Swift show where like there's a giant walkway and, there's everything going on. That's like, I went to see the Elton John show at Dodger Stadium here a few months back. Actually, right after the last day of tour, I don't know if you guys remember this, I flew out of Denver at like 6 a.m. so I could get back in time for Audrey's piano recital and then immediately go to the Elton John show. So we finished our Boulder show, got back to that hotel like 2 a.m. and I woke up like 3 hours later. But that Dodger Stadium show, which obviously Elton John's been doing stadium shows for 40 years or whatever, probably longer even at this point. Like, how do you do that? I really don't get it as a performer. How do you perform to an audience of 100,000 people? It's crazy. Yeah.
And sometimes I look at like, if I'm watching a video or something of a festival, some of those stages, I'm like, what do you do with all that stage room? Like, there's just so much space up there.
That's right. Which we had too. Like some of those rooms we did on our tour, it's like these giant performing arts centers. The one in Chicago on this tour was a big room, right? They do operas and stuff there. Yep. And it's like, well, we have 5 people on stage,
Yeah, dude.
And we had a great setup with the lights and everything, and it looked really good, but it's like, that's a lot more space than we really need.
I kind of feel like, and I don't know, because I've never played a massive show like that, but like, it feels to me like once it doesn't feel like individuals in the crowd anymore,
right?
Perceiving it as this big kind of unit, I feel like regardless of if it's 10,000, 20,000, I feel like it can't feel that different.
I think that's right.
It was interesting with our tour because we did the variety shows too, where these were like, we would do a big, huge show with 1,000 people. And then the next night it would be a tiny room.
I think the biggest room we did there was like 200 people. Something like that.
Exactly. And there's something about those, to me, they don't feel any less nerve-wracking.
More so to me, actually.
Sometimes, right? I feel like there's something about the comedy aspect of things, because your stuff is so comedy focused.
Yeah.
And it feels to me like the difference between doing a musical performance and a comedy performance is there's just so much more feedback and interaction you're getting from the audience.
That's right. And with music, you're less worried about individual things landing than you are with comedy, right? I don't think we've ever really done an NSP show and thought that song didn't hit. Maybe like the responses are a little different here and there. You can tell when people really love something, but overall it's like, this song was fun. Okay, moving on. You're not worried about like, did this song completely fall flat?
Yeah.
Which definitely can happen, by the way, of course, musically. We pick songs that we think are going to work well in that environment. But with the comedy stuff, it's like, and by the way, this is mine and many comedians' favorite things, when a joke just dies and there's no reaction to it. It's like you didn't even tell a joke. It's just like words fell out of your mouth into a space and nobody said anything. No one laughed. No one did anything. Those awkward silences are my favorite thing.
How?
Yeah, I don't even.
How is that possible as a human to feel that way?
I don't even know how I would live after that.
Well, for one thing, it is, it's interesting to know what works and what doesn't, especially, and any comedian will say this is the case, something that kills one night can just die the next. And it's just something about that crowd and the room and the vibe and what happened earlier and time of day. There's a million different things that can go into whether a thing works or not. And it's very interesting to hear whether things work or not. The other thing is it's opportunity for more jokes. When something really dies, That's funny. That is so funny. And when you can turn that into, part of the characters that I do, like those characters don't care if what they say is funny or not. They're not trying to be funny most of the time. And when something really doesn't work, at least in those characters like Trey Magnifique or Ninja Brian, it's almost like a challenge, an extra challenge to the audience. Like, really? You're gonna keep laughing at this? And I love that. I love that moment.
I gotta say, like the Trey Magnifique stuff, I was probably more impressed by that than anything else.
Oh, dude, thank you.
On the tour, just as a whole, like because so much of the stuff that you're doing, you're generating on the fly. So much of the stuff that you're saying, and just really impressive how effectively you could hold the audience with that energy.
Oh, dude, thank you.
And berate them, and like, dude, it was just
berate is maybe a little strong, but
no,
yes.
berate. But like, it was really, really fun to watch.
Thanks. That was nerve-wracking too. The reason I wanted to do that in those little variety shows is to find that character on stage, because we did 15 or something of those smaller shows. Maybe it was like 12 or 13. And I went out with the explicit mission of just get on stage and do this and see what happens. And, not through overthinking it, but like as we went on, I found stuff that worked and didn't. And then really, instead of just guy in sunglasses and a suit with the saxophone, it was like, oh, this is who this guy is. Yes, I kind of get it. And so I really wanted to not plan things and just see what kind of felt right.
It's like fun, having been on tour with you and seeing the way that everybody jokes around, and the characters, Ninja Brian and Trey, are like totally feel like just an exaggeration of something that you just enjoy doing, kind of like all the time, like
bothering people.
You're not a dick like at all. Like I've had so many moments with you where it's I've had so many moments with you where like I always feel like you're either being the nicest dude of all time and if you make me feel so good and warm, or you're just like a fucking, it's being a dick, just aggressively in the most effective way. And you like that.
Just like totally cold and blunt.
Yeah, just so cold and blunt. And sometimes, even when we were just like hanging out, like I thought, man, I could hang with this guy. He's, I can be funny and stuff.
I could hang with you too, Sam.
Man, you've always got something.
And what I recognize with that is that I walk this constant line of loving to do that stuff. And then if I ever actually said anything that made anyone feel even the least bit bad, I would be totally mortified and beating myself up about it for years, if not decades.
That's good.
That feels like a dangerous line to ride, though.
Steve, welcome to my fucking life, which is the constant desire to be as annoying as possible, but never wanting to actually bother anyone. This is where I live, and it's hard being me.
When you mentioned us, like you liking our jokes and stuff during our set, like there's almost this weird thing where like I'm so used to crushing on the guitar. Feeling like I played really well is like awesome. But like when you tell a joke and people laugh at it, and it's like
that's new now.
Involuntary response from the audience. It can't be faked. You can see a bad musical performance and go, give them a clap or whatever. Yeah. But to have somebody like genuinely laugh, like it actually does feel better than playing music well.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
I can totally agree with that, because that's just like, it's like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that. It's like, I didn't know I was good at that.
What I like about both of your guys' comedy stuff is that it just feels like stuff you would say that is funny and not like planned jokes. And that's the best. Like, it's just like, they're just funny. They're just saying like weird shit. Sam, something especially about your delivery, like I feel like with you, Sam, words sometimes just fall out of your mouth and you construct these things which are very, very funny, but you definitely don't mean them to be sometimes. And it's great.
Yeah.
That is a real strength.
Yeah, thank you. It's like leaning into the awkwardness of it and just allowing the mouth to be open.
Yep.
But, some nights, and just like you said, like some nights, like
my favorite Fun song.
The energy, what?
Some Nights by Fun.
Nights. Is that a...
I have no idea.
Some night do da 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 da
da da da da da. These nights are fun. But only some of them.
Nights, some
Only some
nights
of the
is
nights.
the song. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. We're making music, guys.
Not
Hell yeah.
all the nights.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, I love that shit. Is that a real song? That is a real song, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's a real song. It's the most fun band name ever. The band name is the word fun in lowercase with a period after it. What's more fucking fun than that?
Whoa.
I was about to Google it, but
Google it. Look, I'll Google it.
later.
Do you not believe me? Wait, do you think? Okay.
Google it.
Quick
I
poll.
thought you were about. You know what I thought you were
Quick
about
poll.
to do?
What?
This would have been amazing. Turn over to your keyboard,
Uh-huh.
right? Then start typing on it. That would be the fucking ultimate shit.
Google
yeah,
search.
you got them all mapped to letters.
That's right. I QWERTY'd this piano. Wait, do you think I'm making up this song or not?
I don't think you are because
Steve.
we played a game like this on tour.
I was
by
just
the
going
way.
to say,
Oh,
this
yes, we
feels
did.
like
We've talked
fake
about
or
this on the
fake.
show.
I don't think you would have had such an elaborate thing that you just made up out of nowhere. I think it's a real song.
Okay.
I'm saying real.
I don't know. I feel like he's totally capable of that.
It felt like genuine.
Like, yeah, it did, but I feel like he's capable of that.
Now, can you read this? There we go.
Some
Oh
nights.
yeah,
There we go. There it is. See?
dude. What was the game? What was the game we were playing?
Drake or fake?
Drake or fake.
Drake or
Yeah.
Oh, I've talked about this on the show many times.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I believe the last time I talked about it on the show, Leighton was like, we already discussed that. So it was a slight moratorium on Drake or fake on this show.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff we're talking about, though, I feel like a lot of it comes back to earlier when we were talking about whether we like shows where you're kind of more just adapting and improvising things rather than having like a tight scripted thing.
Mhm.
And I pretty much always lean towards I like shows where people are just improvising and
Yep.
and just going with the flow of it. Because I feel like most of the time, if you're at a show where something's scripted, unless they're like really, really good with it, it's just going to feel just stiff.
I tend to agree with that. And actually, you know where I notice this the most? I don't know if you guys know this. Podcasts. I think it's very hard to do a scripted podcast and have it feel like good. There are a lot of scripted podcasts out there that I love, and like these heavily researched things, which are really cool, but they always feel a little stilted to me.
Yeah.
It's like someone is reading something. Back in 1893, when the U.S. was, and it's the cadence is different. As someone reading a scripted thing, and it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It just comes down to personal preference. But those scripted things always feel very stilted. Now, of course, the challenge of being a good actor, right, is learning how to say lines and not have them feel stilted, which is, by the way, something I don't think I'm very good at. Rachel is like an amazing actor. You give me a script. I've never really had to do this. Give me a script. I do not feel like I can say scripted things naturally. So part of this, one of the reasons I like it, doing the improv kind of stuff, I just feel like I'm better at it than learning lines and having to do it, a thing I memorized.
Yeah.
But it's also just preference. Some people love scripted comedy. Some people don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like one less thing to worry about. It's like I don't have to worry about scripts. I don't have to worry about memorizing anything. I just trust myself that I will know what to do in the moment.
That's right. And actually, one thing I find interesting too, I wonder if you guys find this on guitar, is I kind of operate the same way when I'm playing piano. Like your fingers sort of know what's going to work, right? When you're playing, and they're not always right. Sometimes you go to a thing that's weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I'm playing, if I'm playing piano, I'm not even necessarily thinking of the next thing I'm going to play. It's just like that shape feels right to go there. And I think there's a lot of utility and fun in getting your 10,000 hours or whatever in, and then just letting, this automatic thing kind of take over, letting the instincts happen that you've built up for so long. And you can get some really, really sweet, interesting stuff, especially when you hit something, you're like, whoa, what? Oh, I didn't expect that. That sounds great. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you speaking from more like a improvisational lens? You mean that?
Yes. Yeah. If you're writing something or if you're doing a solo, what you do is, I think, very different from what I typically do on piano. Your guys' stuff is like meticulously arranged.
Yes.
Musically, our stuff is very scripted. And then it's just the talking in between that's not.
That's right. And so for me, musically, there are a few parts in NSP songs that are always the same, but generally speaking, I learn the chords and then kind of what to do around it. And I'm not really playing the same thing exactly the same way twice.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. With a few exceptions of like End of Unicorn Wizard or things like there's some parts that have to be the way they are.
Yeah, like I can kind of hear that there's certain points where it's like it's like, okay, this is sort of like a more noodly spot. Brian can kind of play around, and then like, okay, this is like a motif. This is a specific.
That's right. But generally the way I'm learning songs to play is I'm just learning the chord. I know what the chords are, and I'll mess around with that from show to show. It's more of like a jazz kind of mindset, if you will, than a classical mindset. I think you guys are coming in very classically minded, and I'm coming in very jazz minded.
Dude, I mean, that's totally different. I didn't know that about the shows, at least as far as like the tour went, that like you were playing the same notes pretty much every time.
Typically not, yeah.
So it's like basically you'll have like, I know I'm hitting this chord, I know I'm hitting this chord, but the way that I might arpeggiate through it.
Passing chords or notes or whatever, totally different. I'm just thinking of, I'm on this chord, what am I going to do to get to the next one? And a lot of times I'll find an arrangement that I like, so it's very similar. It's not like wildly different every night, but with actually relatively few exceptions, I'm not thinking, okay, this is the inversion I want to use here, and this is how I'm going to get down there. It's just learning the chords and then going around it.
Dude, I feel like that's a distinct difference between like a lot of musicians. Is like my whole experience of music has just been like learn the exact notes, arrange the exact notes, and then like painstakingly work through those and get those on my fingers. And it's, it's just physical for me. It's just physical, like the movements of the fingers and all that stuff. And it's mostly for you too, Steve, right? Like our arrangements are...
like the only things I could think of for myself, I see you do this a tiny bit, but like for myself, sometimes if I get into that sort of space, like you were talking about, Brian, where like the muscle memory is taking over and doing its thing, and I can kind of take a step back, and now I'm sort of like on an upper level where I can like focus on other things. When I get into that kind of mode, I can get really into like the feeling of how I'm playing things. And that's when I end up like accidentally doing really cool stuff. Like we're about to go into this quiet section, but like, man, I really brought it down in like a really nice way that makes you feel like, ooh, damn.
Yeah. So it's like we might be playing with things like tempo or dynamics and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like Brian, you actually might be playing with different notes. Like the note content might actually be something that you're altering there.
Now the chords won't be, right? But the notes will be,
Exactly. I'm going to play a totally different chord, but yeah.
Yeah. And like even with mine, it's like the notes, the chords, like they're all going to be the same script.
Yeah.
But I might just flex with it a tiny bit.
It's interesting to me too, to see the way that people prepare and what they're doing before shows and stuff like that. Because I'm like, you saw me like probably a million times. Like I am practicing like crazy. I'm obsessing.
Crazy. Yes.
I'm like running stuff like over and over again.
You guys practiced a lot. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It was just you were practicing all the time.
No, it's a good thing, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
I think so too. Yeah.
Objectively.
Yes.
No. But like a lot of that has to do with there's the fear there that I'm going to screw something up, or my hands aren't going to be at the desired like temperature, or, like feeling or whatever. So I'm always like, I've got like rituals I got to do. But then like I feel like you're so much more like, you're going to do the show. It's going to be cool. It's going to be chill. There's just less of that like paranoia about it. And then there's different amounts of that depending on who it is, like Steve versus Jim versus Dan.
Yeah. I'll run through things, in sound check and stuff and make sure I've got them. But the nice thing about a Ninja Sex Party show, as opposed to like, I don't know, a classical concert or something, is it genuinely doesn't matter if we fuck up. Like, in fact, it kind of makes the show better. And so I'm not super worried about fucking up a part. Like, I don't want to sound bad and look like I can't play the piano. That would be a bummer. But you can turn any fuck up into a joke and make it seem intentional. I think I told you guys once, one of my favorite things that ever happened in an NSP show is we were doing the Dinosaur Laser Fight ballad. And just in the middle of it, Dan went, Brian fucked up. Right, we performed to like 5,000 people or whatever. Brian fucked up.
I definitely remember something like that happening. And then like a chant started.
Yeah, and I can't remember when it was. This happened on a previous tour, and then something like it happened on this last tour too. But the thing was, I hadn't fucked up.
Oh.
And Danny was just doing it to mess with me, which is actually something he doesn't do that often. Usually I'm the one messing with him.
That is not
right?
a Danny thing.
He does not do that very much. Yeah.
I got a little in my head about it for a second.
Really?
I was like, did I fuck up? And then when I realized I hadn't, I was like, oh, that's the funniest shit ever.
That is like a long game. That's some long game shit.
It's a long con. That's absolutely right. And it makes the show like, it's just fun. And so the flip side of that, of course, is when I genuinely do fuck up, which happens all the time, you can either not acknowledge it or just turn it into a thing. Or you have the thing after the show. I remember one time we were doing Hey Jude at the end, and I hit some clunker, right near the end. And afterwards, like, oh, I really fucked that up. And Jim was like, yeah, you definitely did. And you just commiserate with each other. Everyone fucks shit up. It just happens,
Dude,
Well,
it does.
I mean,
it does.
And I know exactly the spot you're talking about, because I remember when I heard that, it gave me like such a wave of reassurance. That it's like, okay, nothing matters. Brian just did that. I could do it too.
Yeah. It's not like, you hit a couple wrong notes and it's like suddenly everyone on stage is like, well, that guy sucks. It's like, no, we're human beings. We mess up occasionally, and that's fine. One thing actually musically, someone said, I was in this jam band about, 20 or something years ago. And one of the guys in the band said, dude, you're a really good player, but you need to feel it more. And I was like, oh, yeah. I really took this almost more than any feedback anyone has ever given me musically. It's like, yeah, I do need to feel it more. And since then, I have tried not to over-prepare. My tendency is to over-prepare. And I very actively to make sure that I'm in the moment, especially with NSP, which is, with a comedy thing. I try to feel it and vibe it out more, which is against my natural tendencies. So I really took that to heart because I was like, okay, it's more helpful, at least it was to me, than any specific, like, okay, here's how you play this, like hold the sax, like whatever. It was just like, dude, put more of you into your playing. That was 20 years ago. And every time I play, I still think like, okay, is the vibe right? More than the actual notes.
I feel like I could use some more of that, honestly.
I didn't really think about that, but I totally agree now, because I was just thinking about, we were talking about like a few minutes ago about like being scripted and like playing the notes like exactly the way every time. And now that I think about it, like if it was a choice between Sam playing the notes the exact same way every time and playing them slightly differently at different shows, depending on how he's feeling at that time, I'd rather have that. Because then it's like you're going to get new things possibly.
Yeah.
Like, and something new and cool can come out of that.
It's not that one is better or worse, right? It's just a choice in the style. And I think for what you guys do, the arranged thing works so, because your arrangements are so fucking good, right? Like the arrangements are so great. I'd be very curious to hear if it still had the same power if you were messing around with structure and notes as much.
You do it a tiny bit. You do it a tiny bit.
I actually don't think I can. Like, there was times when we did the variety shows, and there was like one time where I had to like improvise a little solo, and that was like, I never do that. So I feel like kind of ill-equipped for stuff like that.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like just a skill that I feel like I've never trained. When I'm holding the guitar, and if you went like, what note is that one? Right there in the, on the 8th fret, third string. I don't know. Like,
That's
I don't know.
That's a trick question. There is no 8th
scales.
fret, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Brian.
Oh no.
Well, I think we should move on to our segment portion of the show.
Let's go, dude. Let's go, son.
Let's go.
Let's go, bro.
Oh yeah, this is something I'm going to ask our guests to do from now on. Can you say "Let's fucking go" like a 22-year-old would say it?
Let's fucking go, dude.
I was going to do that.
Sorry.
Let's fucking go.
You know what? Those are the two ways to say it. That's everything right there.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, dude. I think Yo, let's fucking go, dude.
Yo, dude, let's fucking go.
I say dude at the end of mine. How do you do it,
dude.
Brian? How do you do it?
When I say, I'm very direct. I say, let's fucking go.
I'm sorry, man, but you ain't got the pizzazz, dude.
I don't know. Well, I'm too old.
You gotta feel it more.
Yeah, I gotta feel it more. Thank you, Steve. I do have to feel it more. There's one fucking thing that keeps coming up on my Instagram. Like, and something I have not subscribed to, it's like two dudes who do like crazy trick shots. Clearly they're doing like a billion takes of trying to like, it's like bounce a ping pong ball. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Every time they nail it, they have these like heightened reactions and start screaming, let's fucking go.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I've seen that shit.
It's impressive they do it at all. But it's like they take a solo cup and they like make it do a flip and it bounces off another cup and lands exactly in the other one.
I saw that like the other day. And,
I think,
and like,
doesn't it use one of our songs too?
Oh, really?
The one I'm thinking
Is there
of,
one?
I think it uses the Me Channel song.
Oh, that's fun.
we had a lot of great success on TikTok with Me Channel.
By the way, Audrey has learned the Song of Storms.
Oh,
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking
Yeah,
go.
right? That's like
fucking
her
go.
piece she's learning right now.
Hell yeah.
When she was first learning it, I couldn't hear it without thinking of you guys. You know, because she's do 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 do.
Dude, that's so cool.
I believe that was the last thing in your set on this last tour. So for a while, when she started playing it, I'd be like, "Wait, do I have to go on? Is it? This is almost time to go on."
Oh yeah, yeah.
True.
That's true. Yeah, we all have our little cues of like, oh, they're playing that song. We got to get ready.
There are twerp songs I can't hear right now without thinking like, "All right, time to go.
Yep.
Let's suit up."
Yep.
But our first segment in the show, this is our pop culture recommendation segment. It's where you get to talk about something you've been enjoying recently. It could be a book, a movie, a video game, whatever it is. Now we say pop culture. It could be high culture indeed if you have something that's more intellectually minded. The segment is called What's Poppin'? And the theme song, which I play for our guests every week, everyone can hear this, it goes right here. I'm going to play it for you.
What's poppin'?
What's Poppin'? So that's the theme song to What's Poppin'. What do you guys think about that theme song?
Dude, I thought that got crazy at the end of that chromatic downwards movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. You wrote that?
I wrote that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
I did.
fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go indeed.
Let's fucking go.
I definitely heard that signature Brian, like, what's poppin'?
What's Poppin'?
That was sick. I like that. It's like a chip tune.
It is a little bit chip. That's right. Yes, it is a little bit chiptune. Now, let me ask, would one of you guys like to go first with a poppin', or would you like me to start?
I can go just because mine's pretty obvious. I feel like I've been playing the new Zelda since it came out, and I freaking love it. And I just beat it recently too.
Oh, look at you! Very good.
Yeah, everybody should be playing it, but that's my recommendation. Only if you haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, I would say play Breath of the Wild first. Otherwise, you'll jump into Tears of the Kingdom and you'll have no idea what's happening.
That's great.
It'll be like no sense at all. But I freaking loved it.
A really good way to annoy your kid is by calling it Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears.
And being like, "Hey, Audrey, are you playing Tears of the Kingdom? Like, how's that game Tears of the Kingdom going? Have you torn anything yet? How are the tears?"
You've been doing that?
Oh, I've been doing that.
Let's
God, I hate
fucking go. Dude, let's fucking go.
No.
Bet she's loving it.
She loves everything I do. Such is life in my household. You're always happy with me. Sam, what's poppin'?
Oh, bro, what's poppin'? I started playing some more Mario Kart recently,
Okay.
and I got my girlfriend into Mario Kart.
Mario Kart 8, like the newest one?
Yeah, like the newest one, which is like a huge win for me, and I know we're gonna be playing that. So
Hell yeah.
I've been grinding out. I've been grinding in there.
That's nice.
Mario Kart 8, man, it's classic.
Do you feel like you're getting better at Mario Kart? Because I feel like there are people who are definitely better at it than I am, as most people. I don't know how to get better at it. I feel like I have just been at the same level at Mario Kart for years.
I don't know why. I think I do know why, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it. And I feel like I've always been pretty good at like racing games. And I learned a new technique in it.
Tokyo drifting.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
Let's fucking go. All right, what about you?
Look at you. See, this is professionalism, throwing it back on me. What's popping for me this week? It's a very specific song. So the song is Unicorn by Bob James, jazz/smooth jazz/big band pioneer Bob James. It's from his album, not Sign O' the Times, which is a Prince album, but Sign of the Times, which is a Bob James album from 1981. And this track, Unicorn, it's got a great sax line. It's got some amazing, like very precise drumming on it and like a bunch of very, very cool synths. It's very major key. It's just kind of light and airy, but really, really hits. I've been obsessed with it. I was reading, I don't know what song it is, but it was sampled by De La Soul. Bob James has been sampled by hip hop people for, forever. Maybe the most famous one being in, I think it's Peter Piper, the Run DMC song. There's like this little kind of percussion thing that gets sampled. You would definitely recognize this sample. It's iconic. But this song, Unicorn, from this album is just, I listened to it like 20 times. It's a 9 or 10 minute song too. Over the last couple of days, I'm obsessed with it. It's really great.
Is it this one with the question mark?
Yes, that's the album. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The title track is maybe of questionable taste. It's very much an artifact of its time and has some interesting choices made in it. It's not problematic. It's just weird.
I like problems.
Yeah, but you should listen to that too, because it's also it's like, whoa, what went into this?
We'll fucking go.
Let's all fucking go.
You know what I realized about Let's Go? Is that usually you're talking about something that already happened. So
yes,
it should be.
That's right. That's right.
It should be, let's fucking have gone.
Let's fucking went.
Yeah.
Let's fucking went. Episode title right there.
What if the go is like, let's get hyped, let's celebrate?
Oh, like this is us going? Like we're going right now?
Yeah,
like, let's be excited and say, let's go,
bro.
Oh, yeah, man.
Here, actually, you know what I was wondering about? And I'm sure there's a million pieces of documentation on this. Can you describe to me the origin of the phrase no cap?
Oh, dude, the origin, I have no idea.
What's the origin? No cap. What's the cap in no cap?
That's lying. If you're capping, you're lying.
No cap means
so
like
no
for
cap
real.
means like
It's
I'm
the
being
truth.
For real. Yeah, there's no lies. But what is
right.
cap from? Is it like a baseball cap? Is it
I
the
think
cap
it
of a
stands
bottle?
for capsaicin, like in a hot pepper.
Oh shit! Like no
way.
heat, no heat.
That's right.
around
There's
here.
no heat on this. That's right. Yeah, it's like 0 Scovilles. Yeah.
Yes, I always thought like it had something to do with caps lock.
Oh,
Like no caps around here. Like
That's how Gen Z texts, right? No caps.
so it's like we don't even need to shout this shit.
well, maybe it's like no Capricorn. Like don't be a Capricorn.
Hold on.
Like those
Okay,
guys lie or something.
I'm going to look
you know?
this up right now. Just a moment. No cap origin. I'm not too proud to Google. Oh, it's from a song. It's from a Lil Baby song. I didn't realize this.
Oh, like a lullaby.
Really? How did she?
I don't know. I love slang articles clearly written by old people. For example, if your friend tells you they just got a promotion at work, you might say, bussin' no cap. Congrats. In this case, you're
priceless.
emphasizing how impressed you are by your friend's success. Similarly, if someone tells you that they just bought a new car, say, bussin' no cap. Nice.
Yeah, some of these like you just can't. You can't integrate them without sounding old.
I'm never going to say no cap. Are you kidding me? I'm 48 years old. I'm not going to say no cap.
You know, bet. You know, ever heard anyone say
Yes.
bet?
Yes, I have. I can't say that either.
I'm sounding old saying it.
There have been a couple times where like I want to say it. Like I feel like. It's
Then you
appropriate
should
to
say it, Steve. You should definitely say it.
Yeah. Bet.
Bet.
Well, we need to talk about something, actually, and maybe this is a Peach thing, I don't know, that you showed us right before we started recording. It had a visual element.
Oh yeah, that's one
Butthole?
of that's one of my
My
peaches
butthole?
for sure.
Okay, great. So now our next segment is 1 part petty grousing and 3 parts gratitude exercise. It's called Peaches and Lemons. So we're each going to do 1 lemon. We'll each do a lemon, which is kind of a thing we're mildly bummed about. And then we're going to do 3 peaches, which are 3 happy things. I think I was just about to play the theme song for Peaches and Lemons, which actually I don't have here, but I do have a different theme song I wrote for a totally different segment, which I'm going to play for you. Cancel me, daddy.
What do you say? Cancel me, daddy.
Cancel me, daddy. That's the theme song for
You missed the end of it.
Here, I'll play it again.
Oh, wait, play it again. I'm sorry.
Cancel me, daddy. That's the theme song for our segment, Cancel Me, Daddy, where we give our hottest takes.
Ooh, we can do hot takes right now?
Yes, okay, hot takes, hit me. Let's do it. Give me 1 hot take, Sam.
The whole fucking, the submarine deal?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I just think everyone's a fucking idiot. Not the guys that got you know,
Like the CEO.
I was just reading on like TikTok and stuff, and the sentiment of like fuck these guys because they're rich was like
Oh yeah,
right.
no,
Yeah.
disgusting
no,
to me.
that's gross,
Dude, and it was like, dude, it was so many people. I was reading comments, literally like all of them. I'm like, what is
Like,
wrong with you people?
people died. Calm down.
It's so fucked up.
My disgust with the CEO is his attitude about like the safety regulations and like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, forget all this. You know, where do I sign? You know,
Yes.
This all just gets in the way of innovation. Like all of that is why I feel like fuck you, CEO.
Sure.
But I would still never wish that kind of fate on
No.
anybody that I hate.
Man.
Like
Anyone
holy
who's
shit.
looking at that and being like, they deserved it. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah, man.
come on. People died.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And look, you may disagree with them on various things, and certainly that dude put everybody's lives at risk, but that's not an excuse for being like, haha, yeah, suck it. You know, people died. I'm very uncool to like make fun of them. I totally agree with you.
Especially too, like when I was first seeing those kind of messages too, was before they had confirmed that like the sub had just imploded. And there was still those like couple of days or so where it's like they could still be down there and they're just like suffocating to death or whatever.
Terrifying.
And like basically just imagining like all the terrible things that would be happening in that tiny little space.
Yeah, just like, and like we're all just, and we all watched it and we're all interested in it. Like everyone's, you know, I don't want to say guilty, but it's like reality TV.
Yeah, people were making a spectacle of it. Yeah, I totally
But
agree.
it is. But I mean, there's so many elements to it that made it be the spectacle that it was. It's like there's like a fucking timer.
No, I know.
Yeah.
All right. So Sam,
Anyways.
that's what's popping for you.
What's poppin'?
What's popping? Good
Let's
to know.
win.
That was
Let's
your
win.
Pop culture, submarines, and people dying.
Yes, that's right. All right. Well, I don't think that's a particularly cancelable take, but I do appreciate
not.
it because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Great.
I think we
I
all
can say
feel
some
that.
Fucking dude. It's like
Cancel me, daddy.
And that was, thank you for singing along, Steve. That was Everybody Cancel Me, Daddy. Now we're going to move on to peaches and lemons. Again, 1 part petty grousing, 3 parts gratitude, exercise.
Peaches and lemons. Peaches and lemons.
We're going to do lemons first. Who's got a lemon for me?
I got a lemon.
Go for it.
All right, I have an electric car, okay?
Yeah.
And my sister keeps parking on the driveway in the spot that I need to be in because the cable needs to reach my car.
So uncool. And she does not have an electric car.
There's no. She has an ICE, internal combustion engine.
Yep. we
shit.
know what it means.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure because maybe some people don't. Trying to be.
Well,
a good,
it's the thing
know.
I'm cool as. Ice.
Ica.
Yeah. Anyway.
What is
so,
what is Ike? Okay, Brian. Well, like it's like here's the deal. You know, you can park on that side. You can park a little further down the driveway. And sometimes it's like she thinks I'm not going to be home, but she doesn't know I'm not going to be home.
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know. So like, why park there? And then I can't charge my electric vehicle. So I'm just.
Now, I notice you're not saying the brand of your electric vehicle. Do you want to tell us what you're driving there?
I feel like I get canceled if I said something.
So we all know what it is then. It's an electric Jeep.
Yeah. It's a golf cart.
It's a golf cart.
Yeah.
That's right.
Those plug
Yeah.
in, right? I think they do.
No seatbelts, no limits. All right, Steve, what's your lemon? That's a good lemon, Sam. Very frustrating.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my lemon goes back to my pop culture, which was we were talking about the new Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears.
Tears of the Kingdom.
This is a good
Uh-huh.
And my freaking lemon is the reason I was so obsessed with finishing the game so quickly is people out there. I know some of you out there listening do
Oh,
this.
he's pointing at the camera if you can't see him.
People-
Look at this.
Y'all are
Oh,
so
shit.
freaking loose with the spoilers.
Oh, my God.
It is
Yes.
gross. Stop it. Knock it off. Just
Yeah.
let people enjoy the game at their own pace.
Just in general, too, with spoilers.
In general, too.
It's like people will say shit like they don't think they're spoiling something, but it's like, oh, you wait until you see what happens with,
Yeah.
Marty. It's like,
Such and
well,
such-
great. Now I know that any conflict Marty's in the next 3 seasons, he's going to be fine. Because
Yeah,
I
that's
know
right. It's like
you just
now
made me
you're
know he's
waiting
alive.
for it. Now you're waiting
It's
for
like,
it.
Fucking
Yep.
A, man.
Sometimes I'll check like IMDb. I'll be watching a show and I'll check IMDb. It's like early on in the show, and you see that some actor is only listed as being in the show for like 5 episodes, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna die.
Yeah,
Right?
dude.
I don't want to
Yeah.
know that shit.
Yeah.
That makes me so angry. I hate that shit.
And something like that's tricky. It's like, how do you even avoid that?
Don't look everything up on IMDb obsessively in my case.
Yeah. And in my case, like I had to watch out for, I want to go on YouTube and I want to listen to the music. I want to listen to the soundtracks, but like, forget about the comments. I already know not to look at the comments, but even just some of the track names can spoil stuff.
Yep.
And like, I'll finish listening to one song and then it'll recommend the next one. And I'm just like, oh God, no, I don't want to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a couple times, and like one in particular that happened recently that Sam knows I was ranting about is me and a guy who
Drop
had
some
beat the
major
game already.
spoilers right now. Yes, please.
He like we were talking, and I was like, hey, I haven't beat the game yet, so no spoilers or anything. And he's like, all right, like I'm not going to spoil anything. Only thing I'm going to say is spoiler.
Yeah. People who can't resist, man.
It's like, just don't talk about it.
And it's like, now there's no way that I can get
Oh my
that out of
God.
my brain. I
Yeah.
can't remove that now.
Yes, I know.
And now, like, I'm playing the rest of the game and I have that on my mind. It's affecting how I see everything.
Yeah.
So
Uncool. Great lemon.
that's my lemon. Yeah. In general, with spoilers, people are just like too loose about it.
Too loose. Calm down with the spoilers.
Yeah.
I have a Tesla Model 3.
Hell yeah. There it is.
There you go.
Boom.
Cancel me. I don't
Cancel
care.
him. Come after him. Only a Model 3? That's adorable. Anyway, moving on.
You.
Moving on. I have a lemon, and mine's going to be real quick.
Yeah,
It's
your
just that-
car. Your car.
Yeah, no,
Better than mine.
you're not wrong. Actually, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna change my lemon to be about my car. So
Okay.
I was walking to the car yesterday, and I noticed I scraped the front right, not just bumper, but like side of the car, like the very like top right edge, just a couple little scrapes. Clearly I was pulling into a space. I fucked it up and I hadn't noticed. And it's the kind of thing you can't just, easily buff it out. It's a little scratched. And I was so mad at myself because also I don't know when I did it. I scraped like a couple little fingers of scrapes at some point over the last couple of weeks. I don't look at that point of the car so much. I have a suspicion, but I don't really know. There's nothing more frustrating. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the fucking running of the car or anything. Car still is fine. It's just a minor little scrape. But I'm sure if I wanted to fix it, it would be like hundreds of dollars, right?
Oh,
Right.
100%.
And now you just see it.
Now I just see it all the time.
You're sure you did it. You're sure that some other hooligan didn't.
I'm pretty
For sure?
sure. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. I drive that car more than Rachel does. It could have been Rachel, but that would be very unlikely. I think it's me. So, yeah, here we are.
Ugh.
So that's my lemon. Is I scraped my car and I didn't notice, and then I saw it yesterday, and or 2 days ago, or whatever, and I was like, "Fuck! Oh, I scraped this."
Yeah, dude. Hey, my Tesla has the rims. The rims, like, it's actually really annoying. They like stick out. So if you like bump a curb or something, you
right,
gash
yeah.
the shit out of your rim. Most cars, you hit the tire first.
Yeah.
So that happened to me the other day.
Now, Sam, I do have a question about a Tesla. I find the cars generally pretty interesting. Why does your license plate say "Go Elon Go"?
I just think he's an innovator. I think he's our modern day Ben Franklin, and I support him. Let's fucking go.
Great, cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right, SGB fans, you know who you're supporting now. Now we're going to move on to our Peaches segment. We each do 3 Peaches, 3 small good things that are going on in your lives. Steve, do you want to hit us with some Peaches?
Yeah. The big peach is that we had our album with Dan that just came
Yes.
out recently. And it's freaking awesome and people are loving
Yes.
it. So that is super, super cool. When did we record that? Back in last year?
It's like a year and a half ago or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that?
And it would have been even sooner, but freaking COVID.
Yeah.
So that added like another year or 2 onto everything. But it's so cool to like have it out now and just really cool to see people's reactions to it.
I love it. You guys crush it with those. It's so awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
I do have a question for you. Are you guys ever gonna cover "Kiss from a Rose"? So do you do you have any plans to put that on any albums?
I would freaking love to. I love that song.
Yeah, dude. I feel like it's crazy that we haven't done it yet.
Crazy that you haven't. I saw it, but I didn't tell you guys this. I went to a Seal concert about 3 weeks ago here
Really?
at
Is
the
that
Greek. Yes,
shit.
it's very real. I talked about it on the show. And so it closed with "Kiss from a Rose." So I was thinking about you guys, of course. And it was like the greatest thing. He went deep into the audience and did this like a cappella sing-along thing.
Oh.
And in the middle of it, like he's just going and the band like at the end leaves. So it's just him at the end.
Oh,
Did you sing?
Yeah.
Were you singing?
I was singing along. Sure. Yeah, of course.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
My
Let's
chance to
fucking
sing with
go.
Seal. Let's fucking Rose.
Yeah.
And it was great. So I was thinking about you guys with that.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. I love that song. It's so interesting.
So it is so interesting. Such a
fucking
weird song
Yeah, it's
in
weird
a
as
great
shit.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, more peaches.
Yeah. Peach number 2, it was my birthday yesterday.
I didn't know. Oh, wait, I'm immediately putting, okay, happy birthday. I feel like a bad friend. Hold on. I'm putting this on my calendar right now. I put it on every year. Hold on. Steve Poisson.
I'm totally like slipping out on everybody.
Hey, while you're in June, why don't you put June 2nd? Because that's mine.
That's right. Yeah, we're both a couple June boys
Sam.
over
JB.
Sam.
June
Sam.
boys.
Sam. Do you want to check your
I know,
texts
I
on
know,
June
I know,
2nd? Do you
I
want
know,
to check
I
your
know.
fucking texts on
Dude,
June
yeah,
2nd?
I know.
Do you want to
You
check
said I
them?
was cool.
Do you want to check them right now, maybe? Do you want to maybe go check them?
I just want to say something funny. I
Check
thought it
your
might be
text.
funny if
Check
I
your
said
text.
like,
Check your text.
tried
What
to
did I
act
say?
like-
What did I say to you on June 2nd? What did I say? Read it.
happy B-Day, cool guy, 3 exclamation points, emoji, sunglasses. Thank you. That was actually really, really sweet.
Oh,
I was sitting there thinking a whole day, there's no way Brian's going to say happy
I
birthday
don't
to
remember.
me.
But I did, Steve. I didn't know your birthday, but that's on my calendar now.
Hell yeah. It was a big one too. Your boy's 40 now.
Oh, shit. Welcome to the
Yeah.
club, baby.
Hell yeah. It feels
That's
good.
awesome.
Feels good actually.
That's great. Well, happy 40th.
I mean, it feels exactly the same. But like
Yeah, it always-
Of course it does.
so yeah, so that's number 2.
Steve, check your text real quick there.
I don't even know where my phone's at.
It says, happy B-Day, cool guy. 3 exclamation points, sunglasses emoji.
Love it. Thank you.
Sure.
I love that. My third peach is that we've got new shirts. Like the
Look
one
at
I'm
those.
wearing
They
right
look
now.
great. I love those shirts. Now, that's a different font than the album font, right?
Yeah,
I love it.
we got different colors too, but I really like the pink one.
Oh, you were going to do the thing for
Oh,
the
that
peaches.
was it. That was it.
Oh,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
fucking
We'll forget
go.
about that.
Peach
Okay,
4.
this is my new peach. I just did this last week. I got this pierced, and I
Oh,
got
yeah.
this pierced.
Excellent. Boom.
My first piercings
Damn.
ever.
There it is.
You have like when you got your mohawk and stuff, and then you put the color in it, you feel so much like a Streets of Rage enemy.
Right.
Yes.
It's so rad, such a rad vibe.
That's always my joke now whenever I'm having a topic with someone about gun rights and whether, you should have guns, be able to defend yourself or not.
Cancel segment.
Then it's like, well, I mean, I kind of already look like a bad guy.
It's yeah.
Cancel me, daddy.
That's so great because the feeling that gives me is like it's like I'm back on tour. It's with fucking soundboard.
The soundboard,
Like
right?
the emotion that gave me was like I was right back there just now.
Great. All right, Sam. Peach me.
All right, peaches. So I got a new grill. Okay, so I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found this Weber,
That which is
'cause-
exclusively where you shop, right?
Oh, I don't get anything anywhere
Groceries,
else.
everything. Yeah.
No,
Great.
I say I'm going down to the marketplace. I call
Yeah.
it the marketplace.
You
because
should.
I use
That's
it
great.
so much.
Yep. You have that tattoo that says Zuckerberg plus Elon in a little heart, right?
Forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. I'd show you right now, but it's new and it would chafe
new.
if I
That's
when I
right.
pulled my
Yeah.
pulled my sleeve up.
Because it's
But
only recently that you became an Elon Musk fan because of his views and how he expresses them. Yeah.
I don't care about Tesla. It has nothing to do with that.
Right. Great.
I think as a person and like, yeah.
Look.
Anyway,
You might disagree with his methods, but you got to admit he's fucking cool.
That's a sexy man, dude.
He's a sexy man. That's right.
Okay. All right. So I got the grill. It's not that interesting, but I will say
that's
that,
great. Dude, having a good grill rules. It's a great feeling to have a good grill.
dude, I'm so hyped about this.
And you're in grill season now, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. I will say though, when I lifted, I had to lift it with the fellow who was selling it to me. I had to lift it onto a U-Haul, and it was the heaviest thing I've ever lifted in my life.
Yeah, they're not light.
Yeah, it was crazy. What's my other ones? Ooh, I don't have colon cancer.
That's great. Oh, you had a colonoscopy,
I
huh?
had a colonoscopy yesterday. We were originally
Great.
going to do the podcast yesterday, but they were busy scoping me out. And as it turns out,
Clean bill of health.
no inflammation, baby. Yeah,
That's great.
So now this weird pressure that I'm feeling in my lower left quadrant, who knows what that could be?
Who knows what it is? Might be talent.
I hope so. Oh, I got to get rid of it. No,
You never will.
I never will. And then my other one is I learned this technique in Mario Kart 8 called soft drifting.
Oh, tell me about it. Okay.
So
This might be
it's a
game
way
changer.
to take corners that are wider. So I'll just say this: when you drift in Mario Kart, if you put the joystick in the direction of the turn all the way, you build up drift really fast.
Okay.
But sometimes that turn that you would take, if you did that, would be way too tight for the turn you're taking.
And then you like crash into the wall too early.
Yeah, so usually what you do is you wiggle around or you press the opposite direction or something, and then you build up drift really slow. But what you can do is like you push the joystick at like a kind of, if you imagine a clock face and you're turning right,
Yeah.
and you put it at like 2:00, and
Yeah,
then
so a little
you
angle.
take less wide of a turn, but you still build up boost really fast. This is something I learned the other day, so I'm
That's awesome.
excited to
so
just
it's like
dominate
you're
with
not
that.
like super turning it hard. You're kind of
Yeah,
like,
it's
you're
a
kinda
little
like half
shallow of a
turning it.
turn, but you build up boost as fast as if you were to take a super
Okay.
tight turn.
Maybe I
Interesting.
can use it to
Soft-
make my kid cry when I beat her at Mario Kart.
Oh man, that sounds fun. Let's go.
It sure does. Let's
fucking go.
fucking go.
Hell yeah.
Great. Good peaches, guys. I'll do mine real quick.
Yeah.
Number one is Audrey is in a theater camp this week.
Oh.
And yesterday she came home with a little script and was very excited that she was going to be playing a villain, like a super villain.
Oh yeah.
How does that feel as an actual villain yourself?
It feels great. Finally she gets it.
Yeah.
And her villain name is blindness, and she has the power
Oh my-
to make people go blind and read people's minds.
Oh.
Oh my!
Which is, by the way,
God.
not a part she wrote because she was sick on Monday, so we didn't send her to camp that day. But she came in the next day and they had a script, and she was very excited to be playing the villain.
That's awesome.
That'd be great. That'd be great because you could make somebody blind, and then you could read their mind, and you could read
Yes,
them.
and their
thinking,
mind would be like,
fuck,
"Oh my
I'm
God,
blind. I can't see."
And then
Yeah, thought so.
that's right.
Yeah.
Luckily,
That's
I can
right.
read your mind, so I know
And
that.
she
That's
actually,
amazing.
she has one of the jokes, which is like, and there aren't many jokes in this script, but someone says to her, "You can't actually read minds." And she goes, "Yes, I can. You think all kinds of messed up stuff."
She is such a rad kid. She was
Oh,
it's
she's
so
so
cool to
fucking
meet and like
funny.
hang out with when we came over to like
Yeah, oh, dude, that was
practice
so
and stuff.
great. Yeah.
Awesome. All your people are
Oh.
so rad.
Yeah, they totally are. So yeah, I love theater camp. Peach 2 is I've been writing. I've been contracted. I mentioned this on the phone before by a friend of mine to write puzzles for a thing. I do a lot of puzzle stuff, writing different types of puzzles, and I've been spending the last week writing and doing, all sorts of interesting puzzles.
Is it like math problem kind of stuff?
It's everything. There's logic puzzles, there's like word puzzles, there's image manipulation, there's weird computer shit. It's everything under the sun. And part of the fun is thinking of the puzzle type.
Yeah,
so
dude.
like it's really fun.
That's so cool. I remember on tour that like
Yeah.
you had these like a stack.
I was thinking about
believe,
that
of
too.
papers, and it was like these wild ass like puzzles and
Yeah,
shit
exactly.
that you were
That
solving,
kind of shit.
which
Oh,
I thought
that's
was
cool.
so cool and interesting. But to create a puzzle, you have to kind of solve. It's a puzzle. It's like the ultimate puzzle.
Yes, and you have to make it fun and doable. So
Exactly.
that's the best part about puzzles is figuring out what it means and then realizing, oh wait, I'm kind of in someone else's brain with this. Like we're following the same path. It's a very cool feeling. And the final peach is we have now filmed 2 videos for Très Magnifique. We filmed the last one on Monday, and they're being edited now. And finally, this album is going to be able to have like a fucking release date. And by the way, now I am going to have to
dude.
cut this out of the video, but
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yes.
Dude, I'm so excited about that.
So this is just a sleeve. I'm signing them right now. We're going to do vinyl and cassettes.
That is
I was going to ask
dude.
too, because I've actually gone and looked on Spotify a couple times and I haven't seen it up there
Yeah,
yet.
it hasn't been out yet. It's just been taking a while to get everything in order, but we're in the home stretch now, gents.
That's really exciting, man.
Yes.
Congrats.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
Wait, where are you going to release the videos? Are you going to do it on the NSP channel and shit?
Well, I don't actually know. I did start like a year ago, like a little YouTube channel just on my own to maybe put them up there, but because it'd be weird to put them on NSP. Like there's nothing that's not NSP on that channel. We kind of clutter stuff up. So I think I'll just do them on my own.
Oh, that's sick, man.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's taken forever to get this thing done. So I'm very excited about it. But you know what I'm
That's so
actually
cool.
more excited about right now?
I don't believe whatever you're going to say because
It's the fact that I had two dear friends spend like 2 hours with me talking about music and life and everything. And, you know, we got to spend so much time together in the recent past, and I've missed you guys. So it is really fun and an honor to be talking to you again. So thank you for being here. That's what I feel good about right now.
oh man,
yeah.
the feeling is so mutual. And yeah, like it's cool. Like we did the podcast before, and then having spent like all that time together and just like learned each other more, and like it actually feels really nice to just talk and stuff. And
just hanging out with
chill,
good friends, right?
hang out.
Yeah.
Feels
Yep.
really, really good. Yeah. So thanks for having us on again. This was this
of
is
course.
really, really fun. I remember it was so fun last time, and it was super fun this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was like a little more of like nervousness back then just because it was new. And this time for me, there was like none of that.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, it's Brian. Hell yeah.
And it was kind of nice not to have Layden here today because finally white men can have a voice in podcasting. And,
man.
you know, finally we get to make our opinions known.
It's about time.
Dude,
It's about
man.
time.
Yeah, we can't lose control. I'll say that. We can't lose control.
That's right. Yeah.
And they want us to, but we're not going to let
They
them.
want us to, but we're not going to. I hope you guys know that I just think the world of you as people and musicians. You guys are supremely talented and just amazing, amazing folks. So I treasure you as friends and collaborators.
Oh man, dude, that hits. That really hits, man.
Yeah, it's
And
the
right back
honest
at
truth.
you too.
Thank you. buddy.
We
Appreciate
love
that.
you. We've had just such an awesome time, you know, being on tour with you and Dan and Jim too.
It was a great crew.
Yeah.
Being on that tour with you guys was so much fun, and I hope we get to do it again soon. I don't know when, but we'll do something.
I mean, that's like one of the best experiences I feel like I've had in life. It was just so rad, and you know, you guys are such amazing people, and dude, and for real, I'm so glad to hear about that Trey stuff because, like I said,
me
like,
too.
just blew me away on the tour. I
that's
couldn't get
awesome.
enough
Thank
of it.
you
It was
so much.
just fucking great, man.
We were
crushed, dude.
Like we were always like we would be off to the side, just like totally geeking out over like either how funny it was or just like how good the music was.
Oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's very nerve-wracking. This is my first solo thing, you know, and it is, you know, obviously I had a lot of help making it. Meowch from Twerp produced, lots of musicians, including all the Twerp
shit.
guys.
Oh, I didn't
But-
know this. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But it's nerve-wracking to be doing a solo thing, first ever.
It's about
But
time. It's about time, man.
I can escape the vice-like grip of Dan Avidan.
Yeah, that guy just never lets go.
Nope, he never does.
Once he's got you.
Yeah, you can never get out. His hands are really soft, though, so that's nice. Anyway, now's the time to plug your shit.
Okay, we're on YouTube, bro. Super Guitar Bros.
Yep.
YouTube. Super
Spotify.
Guitar Bros.
Spotify. By the way, crushing it on Spotify.
That's insane.
I don't know what's going on with that shit.
I was listening to one of your things the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
We don't have to super get into this, but just to throw it out for anyone that's wondering, if you're an artist and you see a thing on Spotify called Discovery Mode, sign up for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons our shit just blew up.
That's awesome.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
I love it so much. That's so great. So YouTube, Spotify, Super Guitar Bros, everywhere.
Yep. Bandcamp, and we're gonna be announcing shirts soon. They're basically like they're just about to come out.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, to close out the show here, in addition to the plugs, I'm just going to end with our catchphrase, which normally Layden would say, but I'm going to say it. But I'm going to say it real sensual because it's kind of a sensual thing. Stay safe and come hard.
Oh.
Bye, everybody.
La, 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 la.
Yeah, watch the video. You definitely want to. If for no other reason, watch the video for this. All right, bye.
I have a Tesla.
Leighton Night is produced by Brian Wecht, Leighton Gray, and Jarek Centeno. Follow us on Twitter at Leighton Night, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at leightonnight@gmail.com.